back on what's been going on in my life. And so we are around the holidays. I do want to say I hope everyone has a happy holiday. And if you have any questions, just please leave the questions down below. Or you can hit me up on Facebook, Instagram. I'll put that in the description box. So I have had a lot of success lately. I do want to talk to you guys a little bit about the admissions process, since I talked a lot about the LSAT and studying and how I prepared in the last video. So I want to talk to you guys a little bit about the admissions process, sending in applications, and kind of what to look for when you're trying to choose a law school to spend the next 3 years at. Because this is a lot of the things that I've had to consider, and I do have a family, and so you have to. I know a lot of you are just coming right out of undergrad, but for our older, seasoned students, we do have a lot of things to think about, and a lot of you have a lot of things to think about if you want to be closer to your family, or have other considerations that you're taking into account. So right now, as of today, I have been accepted to a plethora of schools. Um, I have had over $250,000 worth of scholarship offers, and so yeah, very excited, very very excited. But I am still waiting on a couple of schools to get back with me before I go forth and make a decision. But one thing that I do want to say when I'm talking about all this success is that it's okay for schools to reject you. I've had my fair share of rejections in this application process, but I think that comes with self confidence, right? And I'm a very God fearing woman, and so I just feel like whatever school that is meant for you to go to, whatever law school that God has in your future, you're going to get into that school, and he's going to open the door for you to get in, get into wherever it is that you're supposed to be, wherever it is that you're supposed to be going, doing whatever it is that you're supposed to be doing. And no grades, no LSAT, or any of that can hold you back from the riches and the prosperity that God has promised you. And so I think that comes with a lot of faith and a lot of self confidence, not to take rejections personally, right? Because a lot of these schools, they're looking for certain things, right? Certain types of candidates in this admission cycle. Every cycle they're looking for different types of people, and taking into consideration different things, right? So one cycle it may be diversity, one cycle it may be academics. It just can change from cycle to cycle with each entering class. And so sometimes it has absolutely nothing to do with you, the reason why you don't get in. I actually talked to an admissions counselor, and he said, a lot of this is you, right? And so he talked about how some people in the admissions committee don't know why they raise their hand sometimes for a student to get in, and sometimes they don't know why they failed to raise their hand. But it takes your application to really stand out to them, to not give them a reason not to raise their hand for you, right? And so that's going to take a lot of work. And so that's why I want to talk to you guys about the admissions process, because this is your first opportunity to network. This is your first opportunity to really get a good perspective of the school, the type of culture that the school has, and just see if that is a good fit for you. Because I know we all start off and we have these dream schools, and one thing that I had to realize is that sometimes your dream school is not where you're supposed to be. Sometimes your dream school, you visit and you don't like the culture. You don't like, they don't offer the programs that you need in order for you to be successful in whatever type of law that you want to practice. So that's a lot of things that you have to consider. And so just finding the best fit for you in this admissions process is the most important thing. And that's going to cause you to date the school, right? And I'll talk about that a little bit later. But before we get into dating the school, I just want to talk about the application. So every law school, they ask for the same materials in their law school application, right? So you'll fill out all the basic information on lsac.org. So that's lsac.org. You're going to set up an account and you're going to go and pick the schools that you want to apply to, and you'll actually start all of your applications there, right? And so you're going to fill out all the general information, and then they're going to ask for a personal statement. So the personal statement, I think it goes underestimated a lot of the times. A lot of times people strictly think, when they think about law schools, they think about medians and what is their LSAT median, what's the minimum GPA or the median GPA that the law school lets in any given year. But I really think that the personal statement is underestimated because this is your first opportunity to sell yourself to this school, right? And so, a lot of people, I know you love your mom, I know you love your dad, your grandma, and grandpa, but this personal statement is about you. So don't spend time. I know that grandma, grandpa, mom, and dad, they've done a lot for you, but the school is recruiting you. You're trying to get into the school. So this is kind of an opportunity to really brag on yourself, right? So you have your resume where you'll list all of the activities, all the, things that you've done in undergrad and post undergrad. You have all of that in your resume to brag about yourself, right? So you want to pick a topic in your personal statement that really truly um, gives them an idea of who you are, right? Something that's truly significant to you. Because think about it this way: when I'm applying to a school, I want them to want me, to admit me because of me. Like, I want to give them true representation of who I am, because at the end of the day, there's a law school out there for everyone. Anybody who wants to get in, there's a law school for them. And so I want a school that is diligently trying to recruit me because of the attributes and the characteristics that I can bring to their law school. And so I'm going to be blatantly honest, and I'm going to be persuasive in my writing in my personal statement, right? And so then you'll have 2 letters of recommendation. So if you're an undergrad, preferably you want to get those 2 letters of recommendations from two of your two of your professors. And if you're in the workforce, you want to get them from supervisors. If you still are in touch with your professors, you want to get them from your professors. And I actually forgot, the personal statement is supposed to be 2 pages. I would double space it, and I wouldn't make it 3 pages. I know some schools, they have different regulations, but make sure that you read the instructions, because they will throw your application to the side if you do not follow directions. They get 50,000 applications a year. And so yours with the grammar errors will get put to the side if you don't follow directions. But anyway, yeah, so the letters of recommendation, you want to get 2 from your faculty, your professors if you're an undergrad, and you want to get 1, or I would say, well, I don't know, 2 if you're post grad. I would pick 2 professional recommendations, and I would send in a 3rd one if they allow you to, because some schools allow you to send up to 4 letters of recommendation. So I would get 2 professional letters of recommendation and 1 character, someone who's known you for a very long time and can speak to your character. I'm in grad school, and so I got 2 letters of recommendation from my professors and one from my boss or my supervisor at my job, right? And so that's what I use for my letters of recommendation. Your resume, you want to make sure that it is current above all else, and you want to kind of gear it towards what you're going into. So you're going into law school, you need to make sure that it's geared to show, the steps that you've been taking to get to this point, right? So if you have any internship hours at a courthouse, or if you've worked with a law firm, or if you've observed court hours, you want to make sure that that's in there. You also want to put all of your community service, every single thing that you've done, in that resume, because law schools look at community service because they do a lot of pro bono work. And so you want to make sure that you really illuminate that part of your resume, that you have been very involved, that you care about the community, that You see all the things going on in the world, and you're doing something in your spare time to alleviate these things, right? And so, a lot of applications, those are the core things. So, your personal statement, your 2 letters of recommendation, and your resume are the core things that they ask for. But sometimes law schools will allow you to send in a diversity statement. And so, diversity, I just want to say one thing: diversity can be anything, right? It doesn't have to be just race. You are diverse because of a plethora of different characteristics that you have, right? So if you're from, Alaska or Hawaii, that makes you diverse. There's not a lot of people from those places in the world that are trying to come to school. Yes, you're diverse because of your race, but say that you've shared different experiences, like going to a foreign country, or I don't know, let's see, a foreign country, if you your family dynamics, how you adjusted um, to seeing the world because of your family background. I mean, those are all things that make you diverse. And so for you to highlight those things and highlight that those differences will enrich the learning environment is critical, right? So you want to make sure that you highlight that difference is good, that your differences brought to that community, to that law school classroom, is a good thing, right? And so they'll allow you to send in diversity statements. And then another aspect is the addenda. So if you didn't do well on your GPA, or you didn't do well in undergrad, like as far as your GPA, or you didn't do well on the LSAT, they give you an opportunity to explain why, right? And so my biggest thing is, if you're going to send in addenda, do not make excuses, right? You want to show some sense of maturity, right? So if you have bad grades in undergrad, take full responsibility for that. I think that as I teach in some undergraduate courses, and I would rather the student tell me that he missed class or she missed class because the alarm clock didn't go off, or they just blum forgot about class. I would rather them take full responsibility for their mistakes than for them to come in dragging in late with the assignment, and they're like, oh, my dog took it and I couldn't find it. Like, I can't respect that. So I would rather you just be honest. That's a part of being an attorney, is having full disclosure with your clients and with yourself, most importantly. So I think you should start now with the addendum and with the addenda, I'm sorry, and really just be open to taking full responsibility for what you've done in the past couple of years. Um, so some of the things that I don't want this video to be too long. So some of the things that I did as far as in my admissions process, I really dated the schools, and we talked about that a little bit in the earlier videos. Earlier in the video, I'm sorry. I dated the school. So, I was looking based off of geographical location. I was looking based off of the program. I was looking based off of the ranking, which I quickly realized that ranking is not everything. Like, I know you hear a lot about rankings, ranking, but there's actually a lot of smaller schools who have higher bar passage rates, guys, which that's the important thing, because if you do not pass the bar, you do not become a lawyer. But I realize that that's not everything, but it is important, right? Like, just like your GPA and your LSAT is not everything, but it is important. It's the same thing here. And then I've also looked at other factors as far as my family and the cost of living and the cost of attendance at that school. Is there scholarships? Is there no scholarships? So I applied to a wide range of schools. I applied to several safety schools, like really, really safe schools, just to be sure, because you never know, y'all. You never know. So I applied to a variety of safety schools. I applied to a variety of reach schools, and I applied to the schools where I was right there in the middle, in their median. And so, if scholarships are important to you, you want to apply to the schools where your GPA and your LSAT, or either one, are above the medians, right? And then if you want to if scholarships are not that significant to you and you're looking based off of ranking, I would consider other factors. And I would just want to make sure that before you even apply, because applications can be very expensive. You have your LSAC report, which is $35. And then you have your application fees, which a lot of schools you can get a waiver, which is a good thing. If you just call and say, hey, I ain't got no money, send me that waiver, please. Then that's a good thing. A lot of schools are willing to give you a waiver for the application. But I would just consider, I would go to the schools first, because you might think you want to go to a school, but you get there and you're just like, nah, I can't do it. So you just really want to make sure that you're dating the school. And I would go more than once. I know sometimes that's not plausible because some of the schools are halfway across the country, but I just want to make sure that you are really choosing a school based off of what is best for you, right? And so student loans, they're real. Having a place where you can grow as a scholar and grow as a future attorney is real. And if they have the program, like if you want to be, a lot of the schools, they'll have specialized programs. So if you want to practice, for instance, health law, maybe going to the number one health law school in the country, but not necessarily the highest ranked, is more plausible for you. It would benefit you better than going to a higher ranked school that doesn't have the program that you need. Which, that's another thing too, because a lot of the classes, the basics, you can kind of get a gist of what you're going to do in any area of law. So, I hope this video kind of helped you guys. I'm still going through the process myself. And so I'm keeping you guys updated as I'm getting updated. So I'm just really excited about this process, and anything that I can do to help whoever is out there and is starting, just getting started, just took the LSAT, in the getting started in the process. Please let me know anything that I know. I do not mind telling you. So y'all have a good one. Again, happy holidays. Bye. Sayonara.